President Biden's supporters say part of his charm and authenticity comes from the gaffes and the odd jokes. It makes him relatable to people. He could talk about his time growing up in Scranton, PA, a hardscrabble coal town. It's one of the reasons that he won in 2020. The polling showed it. On point tonight, where is Scranton Joe? Because he did not show up yesterday to a Jake Tapper interview on CNN.
I don't think there will be a recession. If it is, it'll be a very slight recession. That is, we'll move down slightly. It is possible. Look, it's possible. I don't anticipate it.
He must literally be the only one. Much of America thinks we are currently in a recession. The folks in Scranton are hurting. Roughly 3 out of every 5 Americans were living paycheck to paycheck as of August, while grappling with decades-high inflation. That's according to a survey conducted by Lending Club Corporation. In fairness, the president can't be an expert in everything. Maybe he's listening to the folks who told him inflation was transitory. Stopping domestic oil production wouldn't raise gas prices. Supply chain issues could get solved. To focus on the root causes of immigration rather than stopping illegal immigrants at the border. Shutting down a major baby formula factory wouldn't cause a baby formula shortage. These are the president's experts. They told him the Taliban wouldn't take over Afghanistan and Russia would quickly take over Ukraine. Who knows, really, what the president's advisors are saying now, because they won't tell us, and their private deliberations should stay just that, private. But here is just a few of the world's leading economists on the possibility, the probability of a recession.
That we will have, I think, a whopper of a recession coming next year.
Parts of the economy are in a recession.
We'll definitely have a recession.
We're going to have a severe recession and a severe debt.
The recession could be a little bit deeper, a little bit longer.
A recession next year is a very high likelihood.
The American people want to believe their president. From World War II through the Cuban Missile Crisis, through the Cold War, into Desert Storm, and through 9/11, we all sacrificed. We all supported. Americans took it on the chin when we felt our president understands our pain. Mr. Biden last night barely acknowledged it.
You may not like what I got done, but the vast majority of the American people do like what I got done.
Again, maybe his advisors are showing him different poll numbers than what we all see. The last time 50+% of Americans, not vast majority, just a majority, 50.1% of Americans approved of Mr. Biden's job performance, it was 424 days ago. This is from CNN's own polling. 32% of the poll's respondents approve of the White House's handling of inflation on the economy as a whole. 36% approve of his job performance. 50% of those surveyed said Biden's policies were making economic conditions in the United States worse. Again, why not just tell the truth? Be Scranton Joe. Say that you understand how hard it is for Americans. He understands that wages haven't kept up with inflation. He could say that literally every day, the dollar we make buys just a little bit less every day. One of the great things about America is we're all in this together. We all need our president to succeed. People might disagree with him or not like the job he's doing, but we all want him to succeed. When he succeeds, we all do better.
We passed so much legislation that significantly makes a point about, for example, the American Rescue Plan.
This isn't me criticizing Mr. Biden. It's members of his own party. He's out in Colorado today because members of his own party in swing states, think Ohio, Georgia, Wisconsin, they will not campaign with him. Take Ohio, where Democrats could actually pick up a Senate seat. Here's Tim Ryan.
I have opposed Joe Biden on numerous pieces of legislation that he wants to try to promote and push. And I've agreed with Donald Trump on trade, renegotiating NAFTA, being firmer on China, defense, General Mattis being Secretary of Defense, and all the rest.
That's a Democrat talking about all the times he agreed with President Trump. Ryan actually laughed at a reporter when asked if he would campaign with Mr. Biden. Maybe he doesn't want to campaign with Mr. Biden because the president would say something like this.
I don't think there will be a recession. If it is, it'll be a very slight recession. That is, we'll move down slightly. It is possible. Look, it's possible. I don't anticipate it.
Let me give you another answer. I used to work in Washington and covered Biden. This is the Scranton Joe answer. Jake, I'm not an economist. The American people think we are in a recession because they're hurting. I know that because when I was a little boy, my family hurt. I got handed an economy drunk on President Trump's COVID corporate bailouts. He ignored the little guy. He ignored people like my family in Scranton, and they're getting crushed because of it. I'm trying my best to get them real relief from the high prices, and you know who isn't helping? Republicans in Congress. All right, now back to Leland. I'm not a political expert, a pundit, or a consultant. I'm a reporter. I'm a journalist. And the man we watched in that Jake Tapper interview is very different than Scranton Joe. That's On Point tonight. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.